Great. Hi, Finley. How are you?
Yeah, doing good. How are you?
Good. Well, thank you. Finley, thanks ever so much for taking the time to talk to us today about your experience of choosing a gap year. Um, as you know, we're quite keen to capture some of what that experience has been like. So, we've just got a couple of questions to ask, and yeah, just really to learn from some of the experience that you've had over this year, which is brilliant. So heading straight into it, why did you initially decide to take your gap year after you
Um,
finished school?
just with like kind of how it worked out for me getting an offer from uni. All the spots that Minnesota had for 2025 had already been filled.
Hmm.
They recruited quite early for that. So yeah, the offer that they gave me was for 2026, and it was such a good school that I couldn't really like kind of pass up the offer. So yeah, kind of I had like debated the idea, but at the same time, like I wanted to just get out and get going.
Yeah.
But yeah, just with kind of the way it worked out, I yeah ended up having to take the gap here. But looking back on it, it was definitely the right decision.
Yeah, and at that time, was there other schools that you were looking at or the colleges?
Like yeah, I was speaking to a few and stuff, and I had an offer for the 2025 season. But I was holding out for the offer from Minnesota. So yeah, when they gave me the offer for that, it was kind of just that was my decision made really. There wasn't really much thought went into it. So yeah, no, it kind of just ended up working out well for that.
Yeah. And in terms of making that decision, what was the thing that kind of swayed you towards Minnesota?
I think just like I mean, well, the conference that they played in for like schedule wise and teams they play against was a lot better, was like higher standard, I would say. And then like the funding that the program got just in general for like facilities and all that kind of thing. Yeah, was kind of a no-brainer, and both the coaches as well were amazing.
Yeah.
And I kind of clicked really quickly with them both. So yeah, so that kind of helped as well, and yeah, they were really keen to kind of already start improving things and getting to work with me. So yeah, it's been good.
And in terms of you finishing school, obviously that fills up quite a lot of your time and structure in the day. How was that initially? How did you create some kind of structure once you'd left school?
Um, it was weird. Like I'd gone from kind of being like on a pretty scheduled days and stuff like that. I go to school at 8 in the morning or whatever, and then come home at like 3 or just after 3 and that. And then I went from basically that to having the whole day to do whatever I wanted really. So the guy I ended up getting a job up at Kings Barnes caddying. The guy come into our school and kind of asked for some people that would be interested in doing it, and obviously kind of playing golf and that it was quite a good one for me. Good, like pay was good. It was something that I enjoyed doing as well. And then not even like thinking about it at the time and stuff, but like throughout doing it and stuff like that, obviously most of the people you caddy for are Americans. So like when as soon as like you mention to them, oh yeah, I'm going to uni out in the States, they
Yeah.
like instantly want to kind of help you out and like basically have you as a contact and stuff. So yeah, from that point of view as well, like the networking side of it was really good for me. Kind of having a bit of a support system already in place if I need it when I'm out there. Um, so yeah, that kind of filled quite a lot of my time, and then obviously I still had a full schedule of playing junior events. Kind of just being my last year junior, I wanted to try and get as many in as possible. So yeah, I was still pretty busy with kind of working, practicing, and then playing tournaments as well. Yeah, I managed to fill the time pretty well. But yeah, it was definitely a bit of an adjustment, kind of not obviously having, having that proper structure there like I had for so long.
It's a huge change compared to how long you've been at school and the whole system. It's years,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
How did you find balancing that, the work alongside your training and competition commitments?
It actually worked out quite well. Because it was my first year up at
Yeah.
Kingsbarns, they kind of like put me out on all the later bags, which worked out perfectly for me because I could go to the gym in the morning, then I could go and practice, and then I could go up and do a bag or whatever, or like I
Mhm.
could just do a full morning of practice if I didn't have the gym, and then go and do a bag in the afternoon again. So yeah, it worked out. Actually, timing wise and stuff, it worked out really well. And then because I was managing to do quite a lot because I had so much free time, I could then like run up to tournaments and stuff like that. I could kind of afford to miss a day or two of caddying just to give myself a little bit of a rest and kind of get ready.
Okay, and in terms of where you're at, that kind of age and stage, was that quite nice being able to earn your own money and have you been saving it for your journey to the US?
Yeah, I think yeah, definitely. It was quite nice feeling like obviously getting handed the money and stuff like that, knowing that like I had earned it for myself and that. So yeah, that was quite nice. And then yeah, I was kind of at the start I wasn't the best, but then I kind of started to look at it like, well, I've got like 4 months at a time basically where I'm not going to be able to work. So yeah, started to kind of put some away. Just like I had set up a savings account and then basically just like split the money half down the middle from what I had earned and then kept half of it and then put half of it into a savings account and then obviously the half that I kept was for like fuel and then kind of when I was away and stuff, if I wanted to spend any money on anything, then it was there and I could do it. But the other half just like didn't touch that. That's for kind of when I'm out in America and kind of yeah, stuff out there.
Okay. And what has surprised you the most in terms of that adjustment, stepping away from school and finding your feet in terms of what your gap year looks like?
Um, to be honest, I've kind of realized like how unprepared I would have been
Mhm.
going if I'd gone out August last year. I think yeah, it would have been quite a bit of a struggle. I didn't quite appreciate like how much stuff I had to learn and figure out and stuff. Because yeah, I've just had my parents doing it for so long and stuff like kind of doing my own washing, my ironing, like cooking meals and stuff like that, like eating chicken pasta for 7 days a week wouldn't have really cut it, I don't think, out in America. So yeah, just kind of all that side of things, like the stuff that I mean, it's not like directly school and golf, but it definitely has a massive role in kind of day-to-day stuff. So yeah, I think it's kind of pointed out to me how much of a disaster the first semester definitely would have been if I had gone out.
Brilliant. Well, before we talk about the application process, you had mentioned some of the reasons why you picked Minnesota. But was there any other reasons? Did you do a recce of other schools, or had you just had your heart set on Minnesota?
My dad and I went out and visited
Mm,
in October 2024.
mm,
So we visited another school and we visited Minnesota as well. But
mm.
just like seeing the scale of, I mean, obviously everything out there is like uni wise is a lot bigger than over here, but just yeah, the scale of the like program and funding and like basically just the support around the golf stuff in Minnesota was definitely bigger. And yeah, both the coaches like they had a good connection to one of my coaches back here already. And I know a boy out in Minnesota already. So like kind of from speaking to him and kind of meeting the team and stuff like that, there was just quite a good like vibe and kind of atmosphere around everything there. So yeah, that was kind of to be honest, that was one of the other big factors, just like the whole support network that they had out there, like from kind of tutors and everything to make sure that we can stay on top of everything because we're not just out there to play golf, unfortunately.
No, well, no, that does make a smart decision. That and Also wondering if you could tell us a wee bit about like the process of like the application for, you know, applying for studying over in the US. Like what was that like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely quite a long one. Like you end up obviously speaking to unis and that for a while, visit, and then like once you've kind of made up your mind and you've committed, like you've got to put your application into the actual uni, which is quite a lot of forms there's just a lot of forms to fill out throughout the kind of whole process and that. So yeah, I was definitely quite lucky having Cormac going out before me. Just with obviously every kind of school system and that is different. So yeah, having him out there and they kind of already done it all for him, they had quite a good idea for me. So yeah, the uni were great. Like the coach was pretty on top of things and like put me in contact with all the people I needed to like help with the application. So yeah, it was quite a lot of stuff to do. Because obviously like you apply, like I had a scholarship for the sports, but then I had to apply to the school and make sure I got accepted by the school. And then once you've been accepted by the school, you kind of start all your visa process. So I've pretty much done with all that now. So you apply for your I-20, which you then need to pay a different form, which you need a number from for that as well. And then you have to fill out another form, which is like questionnaire and stuff for actually doing your full visa application. And then you have to book an interview. So yeah, I've booked my interview and stuff. So heading down for that start of June. And then kind of once that's all done, just have to kind of wait and hopefully get approved for it. And then there's stuff to do, I think, when I get out there as well for making sure like all my academic stuff sorted. And yeah, it's just it's quite a long process. Like there's a lot to do for it. Yeah, it feels like there's just quite a lot of waiting in between as well, like waiting for stuff to get approved. And well, it is definitely all worth it.
Yes, you just want it kind of crossed over the line and you know everything's done. Before we go on to
pretty much.
like the appointment and your experience within that, you know, you were saying you had been chatting with different schools. How did you get the contacts for them? Was that just from people that you had known previously, or was it doing a little bit of research yourself?
So I signed up with an agency that kind of helped with the beginning, like getting in contact with schools and stuff like that. And kind of just basically kind of getting in contact with them and like, oh, this is Finlay, like he's done this, and this. So I got a few contacts through that, and then obviously the coach at Minnesota already was quite good, like kind of knew my swing coach quite well over here. So I kind of been working with him for a while, and then ended up getting kind of the coach got in contact with me through my coach over here. So yeah, that was kind of how that one came about. But yeah, kind of the other schools and stuff like that, obviously like, and everyone kind of does it differently. Like a lot of people will do it themselves, and then a lot of the people sign up with agencies as well. So yeah, it's kind of just whatever you feel is the best fit for you, I think.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. I think I know myself, I'm not sure how it all works with that. So thank you for sharing. And you touched on a little bit about like the appointments and stuff. What was that experience like for you? Did you have to go to either London or Belfast for that? And kind of what was the cost and just the whole experience like for you?
So I had I had to do my application and send that off, and then I booked my appointment for down in London. It's kind of just the easiest one, to be honest, for us to get to. So yeah, I haven't like really looked fully into it yet, but kind of from briefly looking at it and stuff, like there's just like you got to remember certain documents and stuff like that that you get from the uni. Like you have to take your like basically proof of approval into the uni down with you. Like you've got your I-20 to take down as well. I think you have to, I'm not sure, I think you have to maybe take financial records as well. Like basically proving that you can afford to pay for the tuition fee while you're at the school. So yeah, there's quite a lot of kind of little things there to organize and remember. So yeah, definitely, there's plenty to try and think about and stuff like that. But can't really. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head how much it was. I think it was like about $150 or something like that. I think to book the appointment and send away the application.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is like you've got to pay for quite a lot of things along the way and stuff. Like the visa stuff, like to get certain numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
You've got to pay fees, and then I think it's different with some unis than that, but like I had to pay a fee to get my I-20 number and yeah, do all that kind of thing. So there is quite a lot of stuff, just little things in that that kind of all add up, I would say.
Yeah. And with the school or like the agency that you were with, were they quite good at just kind of reminding you of the process of everything you needed to go through with the application, what you needed to bring, or was that just you made yourself quite familiar with that?
To be honest, I mean, I tried my best obviously to keep on top of it all, but
Yeah.
at the start it was definitely a lot easier. And then yeah, as soon as kind of stuff started to ramp up, the coach from the school and stuff was quite he was like good for helping and stuff like that. And if there was anything I wasn't sure about, he had obviously done the process before with one of the other boys. So yeah, he was quite kind of knew what he was talking about and stuff. And then if there was anything he wasn't sure about, he'd give me a contact for someone who would have a better idea of kind of how to work stuff. So yeah, it was good from that point of view because a lot of it is like you almost feel like you're trying to get tripped up at points, like with the way they word questions, and obviously it is a different system. So yeah, it's a bit kind of weird to try and navigate if you're doing it all by yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was quite lucky kind of having obviously the uni there kind of as a contact to kind of get things sorted.
Yeah. And just before I get on to a little bit about, you know, being out there, was there anything else that you surprised you about like the application process? That you haven't spoken about already?
I think so like I mean definitely from the school point of view, like trying to transfer like my school records over to the uni and stuff is a bit complicated because for some reason the Scottish system isn't like down as an option. So it was kind of yeah, it was a bit weird trying to do that at first, and then you're not allowed to send away your like school certificates. You have to get someone from your school to do it. So like I had to get my guidance teacher. She had to do it for me. So I basically like just obviously took the documents in and basically just like told her what needed to be sent away, and like there was a covering letter and everything that like says that she approves that I graduated school and like went there and everything like that. So I think like stuff like that, it's just like it feels like it should be so simple because it's like, oh well, I could just like do that myself easily enough. But yeah, you've got to get other people to do bits for you as well, which yeah, makes it a bit more complicated. But yeah.
No, that's good to know for anybody that's wanting that in the future, you know, like looking at, you know, your time in the States, like have you thought about potentially would you need to get a job or how would you go about doing that?
I've kind of spoken to a few people. I'm not 100% sure how it all works for just for my visa because it's a student one. We're not allowed to work off campus, I don't think. So I don't know. I'm not sure if you're allowed to get a job like on campus, like in I don't know the library, for example, or something like that. I'm not fully sure. To be honest, for me, I don't just with the kind of amount on our schedule with traveling for competitions like team practices, classes, gym, like all that stuff. I don't think I'd actually have time to do it. So I think that was kind of one of the big reasons for when I was working, like budgeting some money aside and stuff. Because obviously, like, I mean, I'm over there to play golf and get a degree, but at the same time, like doing activities with the team or whatever when we're in the off season, or if you want to go out for a meal or something like that, like you want to make sure that you have the money to like enjoy the time you're out there and like get experiences and stuff. You don't really want to be the guy that's like, oh well, I don't have like I can't go. I don't have the money to do it and stuff. Just like yeah, that was quite a big thing. which I didn't really appreciate before I started working, how expensive quite a lot of things were. But like when you're spending your own money, you definitely feel it a bit more. So yeah, I would say that's kind of been the biggest thing that I have had to be a bit more sensible with, is like making sure I've got a bit of money set aside to actually enjoy like the experiences of America rather
Yeah.
than just like being there for studying, playing golf. Like I'm also like wanting to do experiences and develop obviously as a person and a character as well while I'm out there.
I think that's from a PL perspective, that's something that we are quite passionate about. And just finally from me, you touched on about you wanted to do things and communicate and being part of the team. Like how's like the communication with like the golf program and your coach been like? I know you've already said they've been quite helpful with the process, but just anything else, what was the overall experience like with that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously every like uni and coach is different and stuff, but definitely from my personal experience with my coaches at the uni, like they've both been great. But the head coach and I basically speak kind of every week. Like so just messaging after a tournament or whatever, like how did things go? Like what maybe was a struggle? Like how can we put stuff in place to improve this and stuff? And like he's quite kind of obviously knows my coach over here, so
Yeah.
like they're in communication quite a lot. So yeah, he's been kind of really yeah, really on it with kind of everything related to that. And then obviously, yeah, just wants me to basically come out there and be playing the best that I can. Which I think is obviously like, I mean, I'm not even out there yet, and he's kind of already doing all this and trying to make all these things work. So I think it's just like something a good sign for when I get out there, kind of what to expect. So yeah, they've both been great.
No.
Okay. Finley, in terms of some of the stuff you mentioned earlier about those kind of life skills area, what are actually some of the things that you've been trying to do? I know you've mentioned a bit around food and cooking. Is there specific things in that, or is there other things that you've been working on?
Um, I don't even know if the call is going to be long enough for it all, but to be honest, like I think the main things are like obviously doing my washing and kind of like organizing all that stuff. Because if I'm being honest, my mum just took care of all that for me before. So yeah, that was kind of, I've not fully got onto the stage of doing it all for myself yet, but I at least kind of have an idea. I was lucky enough to travel quite a bit over the kind of winter this year as well. So I went to Argentina for 2 weeks at the start of the year, which was, yeah, it was me and one of the other boys who's already out in America. We went down there together. So yeah, that was pretty cool. It was definitely a learning experience. Like we had obviously when we got there, kind of everything is very, very different, like culture wise and all that. So that was a bit of an adjustment. But yeah, we had a bit of a nightmare with like travel and stuff like that, and kind of being on the other side of the world from my parents and like any kind of trusted adults, I guess. That well, at least ones that spoke English. Was definitely it was definitely an experience. Like there was quite a lot. I mean, obviously, I was Scottish Golf there to kind of help where they could and stuff, but yeah, kind of dealing with those situations and trying to make the most out of a bit of a nightmare of a time was, yeah, definitely a learning experience for me. And I think like I'll definitely be able to look back on it, and if something does go wrong with travel in the future, I could kind of know that, well, I've already done this before. So yeah, that was good, like a really good trip and stuff when we were there. And then obviously playing different styles of golf. And then same again, I was home for like 2 days, and then I was lucky enough to go to South Africa for a month with the Scottish men's team to that. So like that was cool as well. Same thing again, like totally different style of golf and kind of climate conditions. Like it's the first time I've ever been at altitude and like play golf at altitude. So like that sort of things was an adjustment. Like obviously the golf, but at the same time, like physically, it's definitely a bit more demanding being that high up. You kind of came off and yeah, you'd be having to prioritize like your rest, kind of getting recovered and stuff like that, like making sure you're fueling a bit more. Because it was like, yeah, it's like 30 degrees, kind of low 30s every day, and then you're at like 5,500 feet of altitude. So it was quite an adjustment. But same thing again, to be honest, like for me, being able to get that experience of being there was really good. And like definitely, yeah, when I kind of get out to America and stuff, if I ever go anywhere that is similar to that, I can kind of know, well, I've already been at this before. I've managed to cope pretty well with it. So
Yeah.
yeah, from that point of view, it was good. And that's the first time I've really, I mean, obviously we were there with the team and that, but it's the first time I'd properly kind of been away from home for an extended period of time. So yeah, like that side of things was quite good. And then yeah, like sorting out everything while we were there, like obviously making sure we had food and like we're topped up on our kind of breakfast stuff and lunches and kind of getting myself organized for the events. Was good. And then just kind of obviously I haven't been away all the time. So when I was like at home and stuff, just we're cooking meals, trying to just widen the variety of food that I had rather than like beans on toast for lunch every day and then chicken pasta at night every day or whatever it was. Yeah, just kind of getting a bit of a variety, so I kind of wasn't sick, fed up eating the same thing over and over. And yeah, just a lot of kind of life skills, I guess. Just in
Yeah.
general, with like managing my time and yeah, just a lot of stuff like that. I would say like the kind of little things that maybe on a day to day you don't really think of too much, but when you're away and having to do it for yourself, it definitely kind of gets found out if it's good or not.
And it's good to hear that because I mean, all of these experiences, it allows you to lean on yourself in future, like you say, and developing that resourcefulness and just that ability to know that you're able to come out the other side of that, but also the experience then offers you that opportunity of reflection, but also that future focus piece around planning, around recovery, around when do you have time to go to the shop to get the food,
Mhm.
to then cook the meal, what is it that you need to have? Do you need to have a hydration strategy when you're going at altitude? All of these
Yeah.
different things. And I think yeah, I mean, listening to all the opportunities that you've been able to fit in as well, it's been really quite rich and colourful,
Mhm.
and that's kind of indirectly or directly really benefited your golf as well, which obviously helps in terms of that preparation towards independent living,
Mhm.
but also just that ability to kind of anchor yourself and just to be able to see that broader picture, I suppose, which is really helpful. And I guess part of that, do you think that's increased or added to your motivation about being involved in other things when you're over in the US? Like you mentioned earlier about being able to take part in new experiences and things. Has that been helped because of that, do you think, of what you've already experienced?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, obviously those experiences, like from a golf point of view, have been helpful as well, but like from my own kind of personal development, like yeah, stuff like that is only helpful. And kind of just yeah, just kind of widens views on everything, I would say. And kind of yeah, new experiences of cultures and uh yeah, countries and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely something to look at when I'm out there, like kind of seeing obviously it will be a bit of an adjustment with quite a lot of things once I get out there. So yeah, I think I'll be able to probably take it in my stride a little bit better now rather than being a kind of totally overwhelmed by it all. Think it obviously will be a big adjustment and it might take a bit of time to get used to, but I at least know that I've kind of gone and done that in the last year and like kind of managed myself pretty well when I've been there. So, and then obviously, I mean, like as much as it'll be an adjustment for me, I'm not like totally in there by myself. Like I've got obviously a good support system at the uni already in place, and then as much as they're not out there in America, I've got a really good support system back here that I can kind of fall back on if I need anything from them. So yeah, it's definitely as much as I am the one going out, I've definitely got a lot of people kind of around me that are gonna help and be there to support.
Definitely, and I think just acknowledging that is really important. That with everything, it takes a village. It's not just one person,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you've got different people who that you can check in with at different points on the journey. And you mentioned previously just that bit about independent living and being away from home, and this is kind of the first time that you've been away for some time. And in actual fact, that kind of homesickness piece is actually a huge thing.
Yeah.
And for some athletes, I know of athletes that have had like a golden ticket full ride scholarship who have ended up coming home because of homesickness.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that ability to be away, but also recognize actual fact how rich your support system is really important, and who you can connect into when you need to.
Yeah,
So that's really informative reflections, Finlay. Um, right, we're coming towards the end of this. What are you going to be looking forward to the most?
I think just like, I mean, all the kind of golf courses and stuff that we get to play out there. Like there's some pretty cool ones on our schedule from looking at least this year's schedule. And they've done really well this year. So like then probably next year might even be some better ones as well on there. So like that's pretty cool. And then just like being part of the team as well. Will be a pretty cool kind of new experience given golf's like normally such obviously an individual sport. It'll be a bit new, kind of every week playing basically as a team, for that. So yeah, that like kind of just all that side of it, and then just guess experience in America as a whole, will be pretty cool as well.
Yeah. Good. And last but not least, Stephen Finlay, if you could offer some words of wisdom to any of the golfers who are considering taking a gap year, what would they be?
Um, I'd definitely say like, I mean, don't write it off. Like you don't want to rush into things too quickly. Because I mean, obviously, I kind of, oh yeah, I'm at like America and that, like, obviously it's such a big change. You want to make sure you're ready for it so you make the most of it. Like I said earlier, I think if I had gone out in August there, I'd have really struggled. Like as much as like the place itself is really cool, I don't think I'd have been able to take it all in as much as I maybe would have wanted to. Just because obviously I'd have been trying to find my feet with a lot of other things that maybe could have been avoided if I had just kind of been a bit more patient, taking the extra year. But yeah, like I think just that side of it, just you want to make sure you're actually ready to take it on rather than just kind of going for the sake of going. Um, like you want to go out there and be able to kind of play your best without having to worry about all the extra things that really come along with it.
You're going out there with so much more value and quality in terms of the stuff that you're able to do now.
Yeah, exactly.
And all the stuff also that you're motivated to get involved in and quite excited about, which is good too. Um, Super, Finlay. Thanks ever so much for taking the time
Yeah,
to
no
chat
worries.
to us today, and we'd like to wish you all the best on your journey moving forward.
Yeah, thank you.
And we will catch up with you soon.
Yeah, perfect.
I'll just stop the recording.
for a reason.